Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Sir, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, brother.
Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
Welcome, sir. Shall we start, sir?
Okay, brother. I'm ready.
Okay, sir. Dear participants, good afternoon to you all. May I request Professor Dr. G. Nedumaran, sir, to deliver a welcome address, please, sir.
Thank you, brother. Good afternoon, one and all, to this nice gathering. Honorable member of VC officiating committee member of syndicate, and head of the Department of Commerce, Dr. Gurumurthy, sir. Most respected, my good friend, the co-director of this program, Dr. Vinayak Murthy, sir. Most respected faculty friends, most respected today's session resource person, the great professor, Dr. Muthuswamy, sir, head of the Department of International Business, Alapa University. Dear faculty friends, at the outset, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to today's resource person, Dr. Muthuswamy, sir. Is going to deliberate the topic on the formulation of research problems in social science research 2. So, I would like to say a few words about today's resource person, Dr. Muthuswamy, sir. He's a very eminent personality, very simple person. He's a very good teacher, and above all, a very good researcher. He has produced many articles in national and international level. He has produced a number of research PhD. On behalf of the Department of Commerce and my own behalf, I welcome Dr. Muthuswamy, sir, and I welcome all the participants to this afternoon session. Welcome all. Thank you, Nodal.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Professor. And now now I request Dr. Muthuswamy, sir. I hand over the session to him.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Welcome,
Sir,
sir.
Thank you, Nediman, sir.
Thank you, sir. Welcome, sir.
I'm happy to join in the online FDP program. Yesterday we are discussed about how to formulate research problem in social science research. It's already discussed some of the aspect how the social science research will conduct in a successful manner. And some of the points will be discussed for this session. Then what are the, at the time of undertake the social science research, what are the factors should be considered when who is undertake the research? Either the social science research or natural research. Whatever the research you undertake, some of the factors which influence. The first important factor is researcher knowledge. The knowledge means they will not get it within a short span of time. As a researcher, you may more concentrate about for reading so many things, especially the research scholars frequently read or regularly read the newspaper, especially the financial related newspaper, especially business line. Suppose one who is undertake research in the field of commerce and management, better you read business line magazines and the economic times and so many journals which are available for the social science research, Fortune, Wall Street, Fortune, entrepreneurs, then So many entire concepts, so many journals which are also available. As a researcher, you are frequently uh, read the journals and magazines. Then only you are enriched the knowledge. So many cover stories which are available in reputed business-related journals. Those cover stories also more helpful for you when you undertake the research. Some of the journals is meant for entrepreneurship. As a one who is very much interested for undertake the research in entrepreneurship related issues, better you read the entrepreneur related journals, business today, and so many things which are available. And another factors like that skills. So without skills, one who is not able to undertake any research. Then what type of skills which are required when who is undertake the research? The subject skill is must. This already we discussed about that. One who is undertake the research in the particular domain, you will be thorough in the particular knowledge. As already we have discussed, one who is undertaking research in marketing means you are a specialist in the marketing. You will be go through the uh, books, journals, magazines. Generally, those skills will be subject skill will be enrich yourself, and also some of the skill is also required for the researcher at the time of undertake the research. The presentation skill, how to present the your project proposal in an efficient manner in front of the experts. Without this presentation skill, it is very difficult to present your ideas. Another skill is the quantitative skills. Those skill is also need. As already we have discussed, you are familiar with statistics. You are familiar with econometrics tools. Now we are make use of R Studio. R Studio now the new concept which are applied in research. So as a young researcher, you are trying to learn econometrics models, then R Studio. Within a short span of time, you are improve your skills. It's already mentioned about that when we published journal in reputed journals, you may apply advanced statistical tools and economics skills. So those skills also required. There are another factors like interest. This is a must for the researcher. Without personal interest, you are not undertake any research work. You are very much interested for undertake a particular topic. You are frankly say to your guide, sir, I am very much interested for undertaking for this topic. I am very much interested for the particular area alone. I am not interested for some of the area. So this is also need one who is undertake the research. Then another factors like expertise. Expertise means you are expertise in the particular field. Then nowadays you are attend so many seminar, conference, and other workshop. Generally, you are expertise in a particular field. So another thing is motivation. This is must for the social science researcher. The different types of motivation, you know that some motivated by peer groups, motivated by friends, motivated by other fellow members, but the self-motivation become the best motivations. We are motivated himself. You are undertake the research in time. You are complete the research in time. Then only you are do the better research. And also creativity with respect to subject tuition. The creativity is essential for any type of research. You think differently. You are do differently. For some of the people are undertake existing research, but you are becoming a researcher. You think novelly. You think innovatively. Generally, you are get some new idea, new concept. Based on this, you are undertaking the research. Next, the components of a research problems. The first one is an individual or a group which has some difficulty or a problem, some relevance of the study. The first components of the research problem, an individual or a group which has some difficulty or a problem. Those things will be think about that on these undertake the research. You are undertake the research for a particular company, a particular individual, or a group of company. But you are justify that why you are undertake the particular company. Suppose you undertake the group means in a particular group. For example, the what are the problems which are faced by the sugar industry? What are the problems faced by the cooperative societies nowadays? What are the problems faced by the insurance companies? The problem will be a specific problem, or the problem will be general for the entire industries. Why, as a researcher, you think about that in what aspect you are discuss. Either in the financial aspects. Suppose you identify 5 companies for undertake in sugar industry means which sugar company you are taken, either the government company or cooperative sugar mills or a private sector sugar mills, or you are compared with the private with cooperative sugar mills, you are compared with the private with the government sector undertaking. As you justify that, why you are taking the particular sectors, then what are the problems which are faced by the sugar industries? In what perspectives you are undertaking research, especially it related to financial aspect or in management aspect or export related aspects. What are the problems faced by the sugar industry at the time of exports? Or what are the problems faced by the uh, uh, farmers? Normally, the farmers also face a lot of difficulties. So we send it to sugar cane for the industries. So, in what aspect your research is undertaken? You are clearly given that the relevance of the studies, right, the importance of this. At the time of developing the project proposal, you may prepare first introduction. Then next one is the need and the importance of the study. At the need and importance of the study, you may clearly given that why you are undertaking the particular issues. Then what are the problems which are faced by the particular industry? The problem related to employees, problem related to product, problem related to marketing, or problem related to export, or any other issues. Then second components of a research problem, some objectives to be attained. As already we discussed about that, the objectives must be the backbone of any research. The objective is relevant to the research problems. Already we have discussed about that. Not exceeding 5 objectives were constructed. Then some of the researcher formulate the research objectives. The two types of objectives. First one is major objectives. Another one is secondary objectives. But in a research, all the objectives become a primary objectives. There is no secondary objectives. Then the objectives must be clearly given. Then sometimes some of the researcher will go through some research work. Is the title of the research is the financial performance of XY company. But again, the same objective is given in the objectives. The financial to analyze the financial performance of the XY company. So the other objectives are become a dummy objectives. So you need not the title of the topic need not reflected in the objectives of the study. In the financial performance of the XY company, what are the areas you may analyze? For example, the profile of the industry you may given. Second objectives, the liquidity, profitability, performance of the particular company. Then comparative analysis of the select companies. Then next, to apply some of the advanced tools, the financial tools, the application of dew-point analysis. So the title need not reflected in the objectives of the study. So as a researcher, you may more concentrate about objectives of the studies. Each objectives have separate chapters. Already discussed about that. Some of the researcher is simply given that the analysis and the interpretation of data. This is only one objectives. All the 4 objectives which are come under one area. But this is not a good practice. Okay. Then next, there must be some alternative means. Sometimes, at the time of preparing the project proposal, we are construct some objectives. But in due course, some of the objectives which are not able to attain. In the circumstances, you may change the objectives. But you need not change the title. Before find out the title, you will think more than 100 times. Some of the researcher in last minutes change the topic, but this is not good. The objective will be changed at any time. Nobody is objection about that. But you will take more efforts for construction of objectives. Suppose some of the objectives which are not able to obtain, better you change or modify the objectives. So this is also better. Then there must remain some doubt in the minds of researcher with regard to selection of alternatives. Some doubts which are happen at the time of process. So you may think about that. What are the way in which for identification of alternative objectives? Suppose there is no other way for collecting data. Better you are modify the objectives. The next, there must be some environments to which difficulty pertains. There must be some environment to which difficulty pertains. This also happen at the time of identification of research problems. The next scope and the limitations of the study. Scope. As a researcher, at the time of preparing the research proposal, you must concentrate about the scope of the studies, where you are collecting the data. You are clearly given that our research is collected from Chennai city or Chennai region. The scope is clearly given that. The research, so yeah, why you are given the scope of the study? Those research findings which are not applicable for the rest of the place. So the scope of the study is clearly given for at the time of preparing the research proposals. Some of them give the wide scope. Will be simply given that the study with reference to Tamil Nadu. Study with reference to Tamil Nadu means it will not cover the entire Tamil Nadu. We will be collect data from 2 or 3 districts. So such type of problem is also happen. So as a researcher, you may clearly given that the scope of the studies, what area you may cover, what people you may cover. The study is meant for employees. The data will be collected from the employees only. The employees means you are collect the data from the permanent employee or casual employee. Will be clearly given that. Generally, you will not do the employees. The employee means both the officials also come under the category. So you will be clearly given that. Or the manager level. Manager level means you will be clearly given that. Where you are collect either collect the data from the top level manager or middle level manager or low level managers. So the scope is clearly given that. The next one is limitations of the study. You are undertaking any type of research. The limitation is there. The delimitation. The limitation or the delimitation is also is there. You are undertaking the research for the period of 2 years or 3 years. We are not able to cover the entire area. So you will be collected for the data for the period of 10 years or 15 years. So collect the data only for secondary sources or limited samples. You are collected only from 500 samples or 400 samples. So the limitation is also there for one who is undertake any type of research. Then already we have discussed about that identification of research problem. Generally, a broad area is selected and then it is delimited or narrowed down to a specific one. Sentence statement of the statement or is specific. Will be already we discussed about that. The research problem will be identified either in a general aspect or in a specific one. Then we are undertake the specific one. Only we are able to give the truthful findings. Then some of the research is meant for general. For example, impact on COVID-19 for Indian economy. This is a general, the broad area will be selected. Your findings and the suggestion is meant for the entire country, not for the specific way. What are the way in which the COVID-19 is affect our Indian economy? What are the area will be affected? What way the GDP is affected? What way the production is affected? Then what are the industries which are affected due to COVID-19? So many things will be analyzed in general. Okay, then next we are moved to another aspect, sources of research problem. First one is personal experience. This is also a major sources when we is identified the research problems. The day-to-day experience of the researcher serves as a good source for idea to formulate the research problems. For example, implementation of impact on GST. Then you are go for purchase any product, or you go for any restaurant. The restaurant people is imposed tax. At the time you think about that, why not undertake such type of research? Then demonetization, we discuss about that demonetization. The time of demonetization, majority of the industries, especially the small scale industries, somewhat affect. Majority of the small scale industries which are closed is also happen. The common man is also face lot of difficulties at the time of demonetization. So every Indians face some problems with regard to demonetization of our economy. So when we is undertake the research before demonetization and after demonetization, what about the impact? At the time of demonetization and at the time of implementation of GST, what are the problems which are faced by the small scale industry, SME sectors? Or what are the problems which are faced by the export companies? So in demonetization, the export companies also face some difficulties. The orders are cancelled. Majority of the exporters are not delivered the commodities in time also. So the personal experience, which play a vital role in this undertaking research. Another thing is online purchase. But now you know about that especially the educated people are purchase product through online and through telemarketing or e-marketing. So what are the problems you may face at the time of purchase of product through online? Then what are the bad experience you are getting? What type of product you will purchase through online? What are the payment system which are applied? You are face any difficulties at the time of refund of products. So the personal experience, when so many things is there, you think about that, the personal experience play a vital role when we is undertake the social science research. Then practical experience, like clinical experience at the time of admitted in hospital, how far hospitals are functioning. As this is also a real experience which are faced by the patients, especially at the time of COVID-19. Majority of the COVID affected people face some difficulties for get it oxygen, for get it medicines. It's very difficult to get it beds in private hospitals. Then at the time the government hospitals play a vital role. So we will be conduct the research. What about the experience we have learned at the time of admitting in a hospitals? What are the infrastructure which are available for the particular hospital or group of hospitals? How the doctors and other people are helping time for your treatment. So many things you are collected through questionnaire or interview schedules. Suppose the other aspect also you think about that you are undertake research the financial performance of corporate hospitals. The government hospitals will not provide adequate information. But in corporate hospitals, like so many of our corporate hospital is there. Yes, sir. One who is very much interested for undertake research in hospitals, better you may check how the corporate hospital is performing. So this is also important sources of research. Then third one is literature. Already we discussed about it. At the time of identification of the research problem or research topic, we will go through the review of related literature, where you are undertake the research, which topic you are very much interested. So you may go through the review. In so many way and means for collect the review of related literatures. When we go through the books, then research articles, as already we discussed about it, that now the research articles which are available in online sources. Some of the articles will be free articles, some of the articles paid articles. Then journals also available. There are online journals and offline journals available. So upon a time, the research scholars and the faculty members and the department and libraries have abundant journals and the magazines which are available. But now the trend is entirely changed. Then online journals is there. So we are go through the journals and the magazines related to the subject of our interest, pertaining question may arise. Without reading the articles and journals, you are not able to identify the research questions. When you are asked the questions, then why you are undertake the research, what are the problems is there, what aspect you are undertake the particular topic, why the topic is needed, what the data is available. So many things you may think about it. As already discussed about that, the data is must, especially when it is undertake secondary sources of research. Suppose your study is secondary secondary data based research. First of all, you may find out the availability of data. As already mentioned about that, the private companies need not disclose any information. Suppose you are asked on exporters, sir, how much volume or value of export for the particular year, he simply says that, sir, please note 200 crores, 500 crores. But we did not disclose any financial related data. But he is ready to give some opinion. Then what are the problems you are faced at the time of availing finance? What are the problems you are faced at the time of export of product? What are the problems you are faced at the time of import of problems? What are the incentives you are available? So, the type of questions the people are ready to answer. But in your ask financial related questions, people are maintained secret. So you may think about it. Then some of the one of our department MPhil scholar is undertake the study the financial performance of cooperative bank. But he is at the time of submitting the report, he is fixed questionnaires. So the title is the financial performance of cooperative bank, a study with reference to Madurai. But the study is purely based on secondary data. But the scholar is fixed question. So he is not thorough knowledge in the field of methodology. So to think about that, your topic both primary and secondary data means no doubt you will fix the question or interview schedule, whatever it is. So those things should be considered. Then fourth one is previous research. This already we have discussed about that. The previous studies you may go through it. So better you some online sources is there. Satyaganga is there. You will do what are the research studies already done in the particular universities, or you visit the research departments. Then some of the colleges also have some research department. Whenever you visit the library, you go through the research PhD thesis. So you find some idea. You will, as already mentioned about that, every research have some research gap is there. You can, so you think about that what way to fill up the gap. Or you at the time you think about that are you capable for do the research also. Some of the people may not move to other places, so it is very difficult to undertake the research. So then such type of problem is also is that. So better you are go through the previous research. The body of knowledge and the skill is developed on a sound research findings. Usually at the end of the research from the researcher suggested base. Normally the suggestion is given by the earlier researcher. So based on this we may find out the new ideas, new knowledge. Then some of the PhD thesis have it annexed for research gap. So as a researcher, you may go through the previous research studies. Then next for existing theories. As a researcher, you think about that what are the new theories which are developed and those theories what we are applied for your research. So this is also a new way in which for developing the new theories. New theories or new models. Some of the think about that for developing new models also. But as a researcher, you find why you are adopted the particular theory, why you are adopted a particular model also. You justify that. The next major types of social research in many shapes and social research come in many shapes and sizes. We can organize research in several ways. To name a few: experimental versus non-experimental, case study versus cross case research, qualitative versus quantitative research, applied versus action research. As a researcher, you think about that what type of research you may undertake. As you think about that, picture means you are more comfortable. You are undertake case study method or cross case research. Your case study method you know about that you undertake any one area, any one company. You need not to compare with the other company. Then cross case studies compare with one another company, which company is performing well. Then another thing is qualitative and quantitative data. Then applied versus action research. And show me a way in which you are undertake the social science research. Then larger dimension of social research on the basis of use and audience of research. So we take a basic research or pure research or fundamental research. All the research, the main aim is for improving scientific theories. Then applied research to solve the practical problems like evaluation, action, and social impact. Especially in social science research, majority of the research become an applied research. The type of research which are undertaken in abroad. But in India, the majority of the social research may not application oriented because some of the researchers not seriously collect the data, not process the data. Then you are simply copying the information from the other research. So some of the problems which are also happen. But the social research really impact on the society. But you are really collect the data from the concerned respondents. On the basis of purpose of research, like exploratory research, descriptive research, and explanatory research. Why we have to take the particular research? We will justify that at the time of preparing the research proposal. The research became an exploratory research, or research became as a descriptive research, or you are explained in details. On the basis of single or multi-point in time. It's already we discussed about that cross-sectional research, longitudinal research. You are applying some of the area like longitudinal research, time series analysis, panel data, over the case study analysis. On the basis of data collection technique. First one is quantitative data, then by way of experimental or survey. In survey method is mostly used in social science research. This already we discussed about the two types of way in which for collect the data in social science research by way of questionnaire and the interview schedules. Suppose the respondents become an illiterate, better you are adopted the interview method. At the time of collecting interview method, before conduct the questionnaire or interview schedule, you may collect the pre-test and the pilot study. Then after finalization of the questionnaire, better you may contact the concerned people. So the interview schedule you will be at the time of collecting data through the interview schedule, you are learning lot of things from the respondents. The better thing and the worst things also get it at the time of collecting data. The questionnaire method is also tentatively used in social science research. So this is also more important aspect which are As a researcher, you think about that which one is better, but you may not. At the time of construct the questionnaire, some of the aspect will be considered. At the time of preparing the questionnaire, you think about that the what are the statistical tools which may apply. So based on the statistical questions, you may prepare the questionnaire. Just you are construct yes or no questions. Yes or no questions you are applying only for percentage analysis only. But you are applying for 3-point scale or 5-point scaling technique. But here we are make use of some statistical tools. For example, high square you may apply. Then other advanced statistical tools you may apply. One is properly preparing the question. But some of the researcher think about 11 tables. They simply collect the yes or no questions. But with the help of the questionnaire, you are not able to apply any factor analysis, you are not applying any advanced econometric tools like that. Because in secondary data, you are make use of secondary data. You may need minimum 15 years data is necessary. Generally, you are applying for some econometric models. So you think about it. As a non-reactive, some of the things we are using content on this existing statistics. And next for qualitative data, field visit and participation observations. Participant observation, the two types of observation is the participant observation and the non-participatory observations. But in social science research, normally we will be collect the data by way of survey method or field visit. The next for qualitative data, the historical comparisons. Then, in social science, research is pervasive and is affecting your daily life as well as that of your family, friends, neighbors, co-workers, and the society. The other area which are analyze the social science research, your family, then friends, then neighbors, co-workers, and the society. Normally, we are undertake the research the socially relevant issues. The example for social science research, let us consider an example for a couple raising 3 years old children in Western countries. Study 1. Rangi and Dar T 2005 found that paid children care is quite safe, but also discover significant difference in fatality death rate across various types of care. Center-based care is far safer than care provided in private homes. Study 2, Bridge 2007 shows that center-based care significantly raising child reading and math scores, but it has a negative effect on socio-behavioral measures. The child exhibit less cooperation, more aggressions. Study 3 in 2003 shows that child care center vary widely in quality. Quality is the care makes a bigger difference than amount of time in care or whether the parent or care center is providing the care. Study 4 is conducted in 2007 learned that care center quality was generally high in non-profit, non-religiously affiliated centers than other tribes. So those uh, example is clearly given that in different years those study will be in different dimensions. The point to ponder is based on this finding. A couple has to decide to look for a specific type of child care centers which devote time to checking into quality of care it offers and make special efforts to encourage the children's social skill development. This is also important aspect. Will be what is your the takeaway from the study consider the studies are not only relevant for specific parents but also have implication for public policy and how a community addresses child care issues. Second one is social science research yield valuable information and they expand our understanding, but it is not 100% foolproof. Then third, it does not guarantee perfect result every time or offer absolute truth. It's already mentioned about it that the social science research will become a hypothetical research. We need not get constant findings. The findings may be varying according to the circumstances, according to the problems. Common errors that we make in social science research are over generalizations. Over generalizations. But as a researcher, you may give specific findings. But in majority of the social science research, you are do general findings. So such type of errors may be happen. The next one is selective observations. As already we discussed about that, two types of observation is there, then participatory observation and the non-participatory observation. But in a participatory observation, there was a concern as a researcher is observing the particular individual's behavior and characters like that. But assessing the behavior and the characters of individual is not an easy task. So many way and means you may adopt generally you are observe the individual habits, individuals behavior like that. So you are do some observation. Then observation by way of electronic way also. So sometimes we are give the specific findings only. We are not give the absolute and concrete findings. The premature closure, such type of drawback is also is there when we use to conduct social science research. Allow effect. So, effect. This is also happened. The repeated one. Once we is satisfied means all the people are satisfied. Especially at the time of collecting the primary data, some of the companies insist for the researcher, sir, our employees are assembled in a particular room, you may easily collect the data. But what will happen for the particular employees is given The positive one means all the other employees give positive one. Are you, for example, are you satisfied the the infrastructure available in your company? For the particular employees give yes means all of them is give yes. Nobody is give the negative answers. So, such type of error is also happen. As a researcher, personally met and collect the data. Then only will be get real data. Nowadays, the people need not disclose the uh, community. So you need not ask the same question in a group. So the people are not give adequate answer or appropriate answer. So such type of error is also happening. As a researcher, better you may collect the data from the respondent personally. You need not collect with the group also. So this is also a major problems which are faced by the researcher at the time of collecting social science research. But your research is secondary data, you need not need for anybody. You simply sit in your home, you may collect the data, you will be process and submit your data. But in the primary data, a lot of efforts you may that better you will be personally met and connect the data, you will get some personal experience. Some of the people are personally give some inputs. So those inputs which are more useful for your research. So some of the people do not disclose some information with other fellow is there. So another thing is a false conditions, which is also happen in social science research. Actually, a particular respondent is using uh, some perfume, but it is falsely given the reported. For example, what type of bath soap we are using. He is proudly says that I am using beer soap, but actually he is using common soap. So such type of errors also happen in social science research. So such type of errors will not avoid, but we are get it only for the opinion. Today we give some positive things. The tomorrow the same person is give some negative aspects. So such type of problem is also there in social science research. For example, today the particular scheme is good, but if, tomorrow the same people is tell about that the particular scheme is not good. This is also happen in social science research. So already we discussed about that. In a statement that goes far beyond what can be justified based on the data or empirical observations that one has. It occurs when we have some believable evidence and we can assume that it applied to many other situations as well. The selective observation process of examines in a way that reinforces the existing thinking rather than a neutral and balanced manner. Is slightly different than overgeneralization. It occurs when we take special notice of certain people or event and then generalize from them. This also happen. Premature closure. Act of making a judgment or reaching a decision and ending an investigation before gathering an amount of depth of evidence applied by scientific standard. It occurs when we feel we have an answer and no longer need to listen, seek information, or raise questions. Some of the questions we are not able to remember. For example, last week, what type of class you wear? last week what type of food you taken. So nobody is ready to answer. Nobody recollect the some of the issues. Some of the questions you may not ask at the time of collection of data, especially for sex related issues. Nobody is disclose such type of information. Then majority of the girls responded need not disclose the age also. But as a researcher, you try to get it answer in different aspects. For example, what about your study? He simply says that I am completed PG. How many children you have it? I have one children. Then you think about that, what about the age of the particular girl? Early, they are 23 or 25, the children's age is 5, so nearly 32 or 35 years. So some of the people are need not disclose the income also. Suppose some majority of the gents need not disclose the income also. But the people are ready to give investments. I'm every month I'm deposited how much amount or repayment of EMI such amount. I am spent for monthly 5,000 rupees. You may calculate how much income you are getting. So uh, so many ways in which we are indirectly collect the data from the respondents. Allow it already discussed about that occurrence that allow the interior reputation of person, place, or things to color one's evaluation rather than evaluating all the local and equal manner. We give a follow to or a positive reputation to things or people we respect based on the single trait or characteristics. We follow or cut off on other things or people about we know we think. False consensus already discussed here. A tendency to project one's way of thinking onto other people. In other words, the person assumes that everyone else thinks like he or she is. If this is because most of us feel that our own view are normal or ordinary in comparison with others. And next, we will discuss about the sources of some social science problems. Social science is the scholarly study of human society and social relationship. In order to socially relevant, social research has to be problem driven. I think the most pressing problem today are sustainability transition, including natural resources governance, climate change. These the present problems which are facing not only in our country, the entire world to think about that what way for avoid, then what way we are manage climate change. The global, you think you know about the global warming. Then nearly either 36 or 35, then some of the seashore area face a lot of problems. So then this acceptable area. The next intercultural conflicts, religious controversies, new source of violence, and the pathway to democracy, tolerance, equality, and peace. This is also an intercultural conflict which may arise within the country and in world problems. As you know about that, the Indonesia is have some problems. So once upon a time, we are exported more for the Indonesia. But now our exporters may not export to the particular country. So because those countries become a more risky country list. So such type of research area is also is there. We think about that. Then excessive reliance on technology, digitalization and automation leading to individual de-skilling, societal depoliticization, new political economy of tech change, and the loss of social competencies. This is also a researchable area to think about that. Some of the social science research problem for your glance, exorbitant rise of online fraud and the new age money mongering techniques. Is there any way out? There are another the researchable area in the field of social science research, pandemic induced work from home, a boom or ban. As you know about that, some of the IT professionals, not even majority of the IT professionals which are working in home. At the time of work from home, what are the problems which are faced by the particular sector people? If any difference is there work from home and normal workplace. Then next, the emergence of South India as liquor paradise. How to put an end? Especially a lot of problems which are happening, especially the social related problems which are happen, like accident, like suicide, then rape, and other social events which are happen due to alcohol. So then, what are the ways in which the in South Indian people is doing? So this is a researchable area. Rising infertility issues and mushrooming of fertility clinic in India. What went wrong? This is also a researchable area. Then every once upon a time, 15 years back, there is no fertility centers. But now every town have three or more fertility centers or clinics which are there. Why the problem may come due to the related health problems? What are the things which are happen for the human beings? So this is also a researchable problem for the social science researchers. We have only one in a billion when it comes to Olympic gold. Why the threat? The next, increased obesity and the emergence of India as a diabetic capital. How to overcome? Then, as a compare, especially India become a diabetic centers. So, why the particular problem may be avoided? What about the diet is required? What type of diet the people are intake? Why the particular disease may come? What we are doing? So many things which are analyzed for this area. Day 0 in South Africa, a warning call to restore the world for effective water management. Especially in South Africa, we face a water problem. This is not only for a particular country in due course, then the other countries also face the same problems. So, as a researcher, we have to take what are the ways in which for managing water, then what ways for preserving effectively water, what are the water management techniques which are used today, so many things we may analyze. Increase the screen time, TV, laptop, smartphone, etc., and its associated mental and physical health hazard among the current generations. Once upon a time, the really limited people are having a TV, laptop, and a smartphone. Now, everywhere, the TV and the laptop and the smartphone is there. So, upon a time, we are insist for the students to may not keep on smartphone. But now we are insist for our students, everybody having a smartphone unless or else we are not capable or not attend the online class. But what are the problems which are faced by the students for make use of smartphone? The smartphone is an essential component, but when people are misused the particular phone, what about the impact on the society, then what will affect the education system, so many things which are analyzed. The next pandemic induced the global poverty and unemployment. Ways to overcome the pandemic period. What way it will induce the global poverty and unemployment. As an economy in India, the developed countries also somewhat affect the pandemic. As especially majority of the people are not able to get it proper employment. But the majority of the companies are closer due to pandemic season. Even in education institutions also not ready to pay the salary for the faculty members. So this is also a researchable area and it is undertaken. What are the ways in which the poverty and unemployment induce the time of pandemic. The next for malnutrition and how we go to fix it. The next, the quantitative versus the qualitative approach. I think the above topic which are more useful for the new researchers. To think about that, those research will be somewhat unique work. Then a quantitative approach and a qualitative approach, some of the aspects you will consider. Measure objective factor, focus on variables, reliability, the key factor, value, free, separate, theory and data, independent of context, many cases, subject, statistical analysis, researcher strategy. Then in a quantitative approach, concept, social validity, cultural meaning, focus on interactive process, events, authenticity, the key factors, value present and explicit, theory and data used, situationally constrained, few cases, subject, thematic analysis, rest environment. So, quantitative versus quantitative approach. Okay, what are the steps in a quantitative research process? First, you will identify the research topic. Second one is to focus the questions. You are asked the research questions. Why you are undertaking the particular topic. What the particular research is helpful for the society. The need and the importance of the studies. You focus on the second aspect. third one is research design. I will discuss about the research design is the blueprint of any research. So based on the research designs, we will do the research. The next one is collection of data. You may collect either the primary data or the secondary data. After collecting the data, you may analyze the data. Then next for interpretation of data. The interpretation is also an important aspect for the research. The proper interpretation is properly done. Then inform others. This is steps which are taken at the time of undertake the quantitative research process. Then acknowledge the social self, adopt the perspectives, design study. In qualitative research, we have to collect data, analyze, interpret, and inform others. The reference for future reading, social research method, quantitative and qualitative approach, Lawrence Newman, survey scale, a guide to development, analysis and reporting, Robert John and Grant Morgan, concise guide to writing research paper, Coral Illusion, how to get a PhD by Leslie M. Pills and David B. Khan. Thank you very much. Have any doubt? Hello? My job is over. If you have any doubt, please ask. Hello? Vinayamurthy sir? Vinayamurthy?
Aruna sir.
My part is over.
Okay sir. Dear participants, this is the time for interaction, please. You need any clarification, please?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, I have one. Publishable for a paper to be publishable, sir. Quantitative more
Madam, your voice is breaking.
will be more appropriate.
Madam, your voice is breaking. Your voice is
Sir.
breaking.
Sir, for a paper. Sir, hello, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Somewhat audible.
Hello.
Tell me.
Thank you, sir. I will write it in the chat box, sir.
Dear participant, any doubts?
Dear participants, if you have any clarification, please.
Please exhaust it.
Shall we conclude? Dear participants, shall we conclude? Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
On behalf of the Department of Commerce, I would like to record my sincere thanks to our honorable professor, Dr. Muthuswamy, sir, for the real and amazing presentation, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, participant.
Thank you, participants, for the valuable participation.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving more useful,
Thank you, Thiruvarum,
more
sir.
useful information. More useful.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, sir.
Am I-
Once again, thank you very much to all of you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor. Thank you. Okay. We'll meet tomorrow morning sharply at 10 a.m. please.